Okay, so I'm going to show you how to fix the adjust and reset button on the gauge cluster. First, I wish I had a tripod. So first things first, there's going to be a bunch of screws. I already took them out because of all over. Take them all out, no problem. And after you do that, you can just remove that part, and you have the internals, which after you've removed all the screws will also come right out of the case. And then you have your board. Now I already found my pieces and took them out. They're right here, the button pieces. The way these actually work, let's see if I can get this close up. You go ahead and put the fat side here down on top of the button, and you got to get them to they actually will click on, and then they'll sort of stay there for a while, but you know, they'll eventually come back off. So what we're actually going to do is put a little bit of super glue around the base here, so it glues itself just to this white piece, so that way that when this can stay on there and be attached to the white piece, the white on white here. And then I don't know if you can, yeah, it's kind of tough on the table, but if you listen, you might be able to hear the clicking when I actually push the button. Yeah, you can hear that pretty clear. Now it looks like I kind of gummed mine up right here trying to adjust the clock without a button, but you know, they were just stuffed up in there. When I opened this up, they fell right out. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So as you can see, I went ahead and glued them on there. They still well, let's see. Oops. Let's see if I can. See, I got a little bit of glue in there. I got to keep doing this for a couple minutes. I put a little too much on, so make sure you apply real lightly, and then I recommend leaving it upside down while it dries. And then just reassemble, and it should be fixed. Alright, I figured I'd just show you quick how to actually get the gauge cluster off. I'm not going to take it off. I already actually fixed it. But this is how you get it off, in case you need to know. The way I ended up doing it, which I found pretty easy actually, was to take off the entire front of the bike. And to do that, you gotta, I'll get a flashlight in here, maybe it'll make it better. You take off everything here, these bolts here, and then on the other side, same thing. You know, right, the front fairing, get all those bolts out. You don't actually have to take off this piece or this piece. I just took off like the rivet and one bolt just to make it easy to pull out of the way. And you might need to take off this piece, but I mean, it's loose. You don't really need to take it off. And then in here, under these two bolts here, one here, one here, those come off. I think, I forget which size bolt it is, but anyway, those come right off. They just screw out, no nuts or anything on the other side. And then under here, there are two connectors for your wiring that need to be undone. And then there's the ductwork in either side, here and on the other side. They actually just pull right out, like the tubing just separates, you can pull it right out. And then the only other thing you need to remember is underneath the bike there is a tab on either side. I can't really see them here, but there's a small tab on either side of the radiator that is attached to the fairing here, so don't forget to take those out, or else you'll be trying to pull it off and it's still stuck to your bike. And then when you do that, the whole front will fall off. I recommend putting something on your fender so you don't scratch it when you're pulling that off. Other than that, oh, and then when you do get the whole assembly off, you got to take the mirrors off, and then you can take the front fairing stay, which was this piece here that's actually attached to the bike. That'll come off. and the gauge cluster is attached to that from the rear. Just disconnect the gauge cluster from the rest with the electrical connection, and I think there's like 3 screws that hold the gauge cluster onto the front fairing stay. Other than that, I don't think there's much else to say. That should do it.